Hello there, David Crabtree. Good to see you again. I have to tell you, the followers of Blue Collar Conversations podcasts wanted to hear from you. The last time we spoke was the first week in April, and you were telling us what was happening in your care homes. You alerted us to the situation. To be fair, you then made the Sunday papers. You alerted the papers to the situation, and you explained to us how patients were being discharged from hospital, weren't getting the tests, you didn't have the necessary PPE, and then nurses were not wanting to come into the care homes as well. You had staff who hadn't seen their family for nearly a month and were prepared to go into lockdown with the patients for a full 2 weeks. So it's following up on that episode 2, as it were, of our podcast, What's Happening Now, nearly 6 weeks, 2 months later.
Well, it's been horrendous, both for deaths of COVID. We've lost over 2 homes. We've lost 13 people who sadly died to COVID. We had about 7 more who have recovered, fortunately. The staff have worked tirelessly. Many have had to go off and self-isolate because they themselves have either tested positive or because a family member has. So it's been emotionally, psychologically, physically, extremely tiring for these poor care staff, who now, because of the drop in numbers in care homes, will either be furloughed at the moment and may well face redundancy in the next 5 weeks.
What are you going to do? What should the government do?
Today, as we speak, and it's the 19th of May, we still have not had our residents tested. So it's all well and good testing the staff, but then they go back into asymptomatic residents who are not showing any signs or symptoms of COVID, but may well be carrying the virus. So what we really urgently need to do is test all residents, all members of staff, and then repeat that weekly. That's the first step. That will help us contain what we have. The second step then is to continue with what the government have introduced, which is testing prior to discharge. And what we want beyond that is you test 2 days before discharge, you note the result is negative, then you can discharge into the care home. But before you do that, take a second test so that you can then alert the home in 48 hours if there's any change, if they've contracted the virus within the 48 hours prior to the first result coming back. I think what's actually happening now throughout the country is we're starting to unify we deliver care, whether it's NHS care or social care, it's care. Yeah. And I think that message, if nothing else has come out of this, will be a legacy going forward.
Right. Well, I'll end it there because I know you've got 101 things to do. Thank you, David, for raising this important issue over 2 months ago and now being that sound voice on what needs to happen going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.